Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden.
Where we continue to follow the capture and killing of Osama bin Laden now.
Those are just some of the scenes overnight as thousands of Americans gathered in celebration of Osama bin Laden's death.
Former Navy SEAL Rob O'Neill says he has thought about the mission every day since that May Day in 2011.
For multiple conversations you had with Rob O'Neill over the past year and a half, how'd you get
access? And you described that his head kind of exploded when you hit him.
I actually hit him 3 times because I shot him twice when he was standing and once on the ground.
That is the fucking American badass right there.
Go, go, go. We are not going for fame and we are not going for bravado. We are going for the single mom who dropped her kids off at elementary school on a Tuesday morning, and then 45 minutes later she jumped to her death out of a skyscraper.
If you need help, hang up and then dial your operator.
I'm Rob O'Neill, and this is the Operator Podcast. Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to the Operator Podcast. This is exciting because a couple weeks ago, I released a podcast called episode 91 called Dude, Where's Episode 90? That's because we had some issues in a new studio that I was using. I did my first ever in-person interview with John Wiber, who on Instagram is News Updates for Real, News Updates number 4 Real. And that's an awesome follow too, by the way, if you haven't been there. He and I went to an undisclosed location and we tried some psychedelics. We did DMT. And then we talked about the experience. And he is not a combat vet. I am a combat vet. But I've said before, as far as mental health, as far as stress or anxiety, if you're a human and you're not a complete sociopath, which means you don't work in the Capitol, you may have some. And the psychedelics, they don't really want around because these really, really help as opposed to just popping pills. They get your, like people say that you've heard, not people. You've heard that when you're working, you use like 30% of your brain or whatever. I don't think that's true. It's you use a different percentage of the time for the time, a percentage of your brain at the time. So you're playing chess, that's one part. You're playing basketball, that's another part, or you're reading, that's another. But what a lot of these psychedelics do is they kind of open all of them up and they communicate with each other. So it is you thinking. And it's also like next dimension stuff. It really gets you deep into your own mind and you kind of get a tour of your soul. I've done it before. I'm actually in the process of doing something different right now that I will talk about. It's very, very intense. I'm not going to get into it this episode, but John Wiber and I went to a location. We did DMT and then we talked about the experience. We had issues with some of the audio, but this is the first video interview in person I've done. Did it with John, and we had a great time. We had a great talk. We just talked about, it was his first time doing DMT. I've done it before. I'm kind of used to it if you ever get used to it. But it's a very, very unique experience. And it's sort of it's a test in sort of relaxation and trust that I recommend doing it in a safe place. A lot of people, a lot of lawmakers like to say that these are club drugs, which is complete bullshit. Because if you take stuff like DMT or ibogaine, psilocybin or ayahuasca, I don't think you want to be at a club. It'll scare the balls out of you. I'm pretty sure that if you don't respect the sacrament that it is, it'll take you right to hell and show it to you. If you've never seen the movie Event Horizon, when that dude kind of blasts his eyeballs out and shows them to you, that's probably what it could be like. But it really gets you thinking. You kind of open up to thoughts you've either suppressed or don't remember, and it shows them to you. And it's a place to actually make peace with them. It's really cool. But John and I did that, and we're going to talk about on this episode. So this is actually, we're releasing it today. It's actually episode 90 of the Operator Podcast. We're out of order. We do have Dude, Where's episode 90, 91. And then, obviously we had Will Chesney on last week, which is an incredible episode. If you haven't listened to that, do that. That's the first time 2 SEAL Team 6 shooters from the Bin Laden raid talked about not necessarily the tactics on the raid, but sort of the feelings, the emotions, the humanity, the team going in, being there, coming out, and what happened after. Really, really cool interview. But this one is with John Wiber. We're going to discuss that. We do talk about some of my apparel. I like to keep it simple. I don't know if you've seen my shirt, Take the Shot. That's the advice that someone asked me one time, if you could give 15-year-old Rob O'Neill any advice, what would it be? And the advice is ask her out. Take the shot. And that's in life. Take the shot wherever you are. The best way I can say that is I know that people have said, why is that beautiful girl with that ugly dude? Well, it's because he asked. He took the shot. Well, what if she says no? Well, what if she says yes? Take the shot. So, but that's kind of the basis. Keep it simple. Take the shot. The basis of my apparel. I gave John a shirt like front toward enemy. That's simple. Front toward enemy. That's the back. Fire like this. This is a T-shirt I made because this is no kidding in an Army manual. Here's your bazooka. There's the working end. Fire like this. And I have been restricted on a lot of social media platforms, but RJO Apparel has all this good stuff. I'm going to make some more. I've got some funny ideas for shirts. If you don't think I'm funny, I can live with that. I think I'm funny. But we've redone the shirts too. They're really comfortable. So the front toward enemy, fire like this, take the shot, all that good stuff. RJO Apparel. And that's where it's at. You're going to enjoy this.
Now, you and I have been talking for quite a while about this, and I think we've had the discussions before where I think everybody has some trauma in their life. Something traumatic happened, and therapy is a real thing. Some people don't like it, don't want to talk about it, or might be afraid of it.
There's the stigma still, for sure.
But the DMT is what we call a psychedelic that takes you into a different place. And the way I describe it, and the way I was trying to describe it to you before today was you can't describe it. You're taking a journey of your soul.
Pretty accurate way to describe it.
So what can you walk us through, because obviously the coffee was delightful, but then we had to go somewhere, and the way that I described where we went was somewhere south of Canada, north of the Mason-Dixon line.
It was somewhere in the middle there.
Yeah, right in the middle. Right around
somewhere in the middle there. First and foremost, I'm just going to say thank you, Robert, for the book. The Operator, written by Robert O'Neill. Also, pretty snazzy little shirt. Apparently, you want to point the weapon towards the enemy, guys. Okay?
The way that we describe that is because one of my things is keep it simple.
That's right.
Master the basics.
That's right.
And that's from a Claymore mine, front toward enemy. And on the back,
oh my God.
And on the back, you'll notice even on the shirt, it says back. And the reason that is because, there it is. Because someone somewhere screwed up. And if you read through the manuals of a Claymore mine, if you read through it, they all come with one. This is C4 with 800 ball bearings. One of them says it has a dude in a tree above a Claymore with a Ghostbuster sign over it. We know what that means, though. Somebody fucking did that.
Somebody did that.
You shouldn't need to be told don't hide above the C4.
Not a great
anyway, so it's a T-shirt, but it's also that is instructions on how to wear a T-shirt.
Fresh out of the I didn't even realize that.
Front
some mornings that's going to come in handy because some days it's
like this too. This came out of an Army manual. No shit.
I love it.
Fire like this.
Just like
basically, it's a bazooka.
Fire like this.
And the more I look at it, and what's funny is for the DMT. Before we get into that, the first 3 seconds, if you look at this as you take DMT, it looks like Princess Leia. Right there.
It absolutely does. Okay.
I bought you a matching hat too.
I'm ruined forever. There it is.
Enemy.
I was going to say, where's the hat at? Let's go, guys. So we are swagged out here. Operator Podcast, episode number 90.
90.
No big deal, guys.
First in-person interview.
Yeah, and mine too.
Pretty cool.
And mine too.
Yeah, it's amazing.
We've taken the online relationship to the real life. How's it feel?
It's amazing. I feel like a professional.
It does, I feel that vibe.
Because normally in my studio, the one that I work with, I do Zoom interviews or I just yell at a camera.
Sure.
Which I love.
Hey.
Because I do read the comments, but not always. But I want to give them my opinion as an operator, get their opinion as an operator. And anyone's an operator.
Yeah.
Just like anyone can have trauma, anyone can get therapy, anyone, whatever. Yeah. I will tell you what I think, and then I want to hear what you think.
That's it.
That's simple.
And so, okay. So back to the experience today.
Yes, we want to hear about this because I've been doing psychedelics a while too, and I love getting into it. So I'm not going to steal your. We both talk a lot. So
I want to hear about your first experience, but I mean mine's fresh. It was unlike anything I expected, and like I've done magical mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
What do people call that? What is that called, Luis?
Psychedelic or
what the name for the mushrooms like.
Psilocybin,
yes, I got to remember that. Anyway, so I am familiar with that sort of thing. I'm familiar with letting go. I feel like I was very persistent in wanting to be able to let go, and I think that prevented me from letting go in a way.
Really?
I don't know. I was kind of like, So guys, the way I would describe it is, it was the most peaceful, serene, beautiful limbo. Is limbo?
Limbo's that's a great word.
It was a great.
It's so hard to describe, but limbo's a really good word. Yeah.
But you're not panicked. I was kind of worried I was going to be shot off like a fucking laser beam into the sky or something. No, it was chill. I think that was a lot to do with the company you have and the way you do it.
Very true. I've gotten a different reaction when I take mushrooms wearing nothing but my rainbow Speedos at a
That's
nightclub.
a different vibe.
Way different vibe. Yeah. I'm half joking because they weren't Speedos. They're Daisy Dukes.
Well, you were completely.
But
naked,
I mean, the
Robert.
difference between like the getting something that's pure by a professional.
That's right.
As opposed to $5 a hit at the from the doorman.
Yeah, your buddy from high school being like, "Hey, look at this pen I got. Try this out." So I mean, I think everyone knows what DMT is now. What do you attribute to that? Like, because DMT used to be something that Joe Rogan started talking about 10, 15 years ago, and he was the only one that talked about it. Now I'm seeing literal executive management types doing this on a regular basis. What do you attribute to that? How did that happen?
I think people like Joe Rogan were able to tell people, because it's one of those things that's almost taboo where I'm not going to admit that I have an issue. I'm not going to admit that I need therapy. I'm not going to admit I do psychedelics.
Sure.
It's almost like the whole, I'm going to drink non-alcoholic beer, but I'm not going to tell anybody. But now it's getting to the point where I think, especially with social media, there's a lot of downfalls to it. But I think it's helped us realize that we're all a little bit nuts. And the therapy is that, because Rogan obviously talked about it. My first experience was because my wife told me that because I believe in the 7-year itch as far as post-traumatic stress.
For sure.
And I started to go crazier the further I got away from war.
So people understand, you use this as a form of treatment.
We're
not kidding when we say therapy.
Oh, yeah, I do it at least once a month now. It might be twice a month.
Yeah.
And it's just because, you get your high and then the demons might come back or something like that. Jessica wanted me to start taking therapy, and me being a Navy SEAL, like, fuck that, I can do whatever.
Yeah.
But she found me a combat vet from Vietnam.
Yeah.
And he got his PhD after Vietnam. And Vietnam's a war that everyone got treated like shit when they got home. The PTSD they dealt with. So I agreed. I was like, you know what? I'm going to talk to him first. I talked to him. We talked about different things, the whole pen and paper and why I'm nuts. But then he told me, but he's a cool psychiatrist because he tells me why he's nuts. Then he said, well, I've been doing MDMA, and that's how I first started. MDMA is it's ecstasy in a club, which is awesome. Let's be honest. But when you take it medically to heal, it's better. And then he told me about someone else that you met today, and I met them, and the DMT is a lot more intense.
Certainly.
But it's better because, again, we can try to describe it all we want. For me personally, the first 4 minutes is an intense deep dive into your soul, but it's almost like you're talking to yourself, but there's a host, and it just shows you everything.
I honestly, and I've watched some of the vid. By the way, guys, I did document all of this, and I will be sharing that with you guys so you guys can get a look at what it looks like. It doesn't look like much. It looks like a slightly fat guy lying down there on a thing, kind of. But I wanted to I can feel like almost my spine wanted to come out of my body a little bit. Not in a bad way. Like, that sounds uncomfortable. It wasn't uncomfortable. Maybe that weighted blanket was more important than I realized.
That's the way to go. It's so good. I ordered a weighted blanket that I have.
But your muscles, your muscles in your face start doing stuff, and you feel. But it's relaxing. I can't put it any way up. Like
the way that because at first you hit it. It's almost like an 8-second or 2 hour journey through the stratosphere.
Yeah.
And then when you get out there, for me, it's almost like I'm inhaling, but I can inhale more. And then I can exhale.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I could float, but I'm peaceful. And then almost that 360 vision, but it's beautiful.
I had literally, you mentioned that, and I had that for about a split second.
Which part?
The 360 thing. There was about a split second. The ceiling and the wall joint went away. I closed my eyes and saw blackness, and then opened them, and then I saw this little red-haired leprechaun standing over me. That was you. Yes, it turned out to be you. But that was and then
there was a big handsome leprechaun.
There was the best-looking leprechaun I ever seen standing over me. I thought I was literally on like I was in an alien spaceship getting probed or something for a second. Like, just the way everyone and you guys were both looking down at me, and I'm like. And then,
I can't explain the probe, but you did undo your own belt. But no, what was so cool though, because I was able to go in there with you, and I did it after you. But because I've never really seen it as someone's going through it.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I never. I usually I go with my person that administers it, but I've always wondered, because I was saying before, a lot of times with psychedelics you will purge, and that's literally bad energy leaving your body. And for me, it's I'll cry. I have puked.
Yeah.
I'm happy I haven't peed or pooped on pee pee poo poo. Some people do, right? I mean, hang on, I might have just now.
Just a little bit. Just a little came out.
But what's so cool, if you're in the right environment and you know you're safe, all it is the negativity is fine. The positivity is finding a way to kick the negativity out. Peeing and crying, I mean, that's just a good movie too. If you're in the theater,
that's the name of my autobiography.
Being.
That's the John Wiber story.
But what did you? What do you? Can you describe like going into the place? We do the smoke and the prayer, and then and then lay down, and everything's peaceful. What was it like? I mean, as far as because okay, again, I'm gonna stop talking. But for me, a lot of the negative energy makes one last ditch effort to stop you. It'll say something like, "Nah, fuck that. You're good. You're fine. Just go to the bar." Or something.
When I was literally as the parachute was being filled, a big part of me wanted to get up and say, you know what? No, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And I fought that off. And then after the fact, like I said, guys, just so you understand, you can see how hard it is for me to quantify and explain what I experienced. And I was tip of the iceberg. I mean, I know I can go deeper, and we are going to do that. I dipped my toes though, and I came out of it. I couldn't stop fucking smiling.
Right.
And that's not normal for me. I'm kind of a bitter asshole. Like, on the inside, I'm a downright sweetheart, maybe a little too soft sometimes. But like, frankly, the feeling of just not euphoric, not complacency, something in the middle. I was good. I was good with everything. Everything was good.
That's good. Everything's good.
Yeah.
But that's after, isn't that?
That was after, and then like actually, so there was a lingering effect. There was a picture of Jesus on the wall. And he kind of popped out and said, "What up?" Just a little.
Nothing you say is going to sound crazy.
No, and so it was like, okay, so I'm still kind of in this mode, and I was just, and then after we went out and we got a taco. And the conversation was flowing in a way, like it was just like we were both just on. Energy was up. Vibes were up. I felt great. I still feel great now, although it is like I can feel the curmudgeon that is myself, that is my identity coming out again, and that's okay.
Well, it is okay. It's just an introduction, though. You just started with this. Yeah.
I can't wait to find out more about it. Was there a profound moment for you, Robert, when you had like? Because when you first tried it, did you know that this was going to be something you liked?
I had no idea what I was getting into the first time. And DMT was actually the first psychedelic that I've ever tried.
Oh, no shit.
And I didn't know
you jumped right to the big guns.
Yeah, well, that's what I figured I needed. Because I know it's one of those things where, and it's not just a guy, again, I keep bringing up combat, but people don't know what you've seen. People don't know what I've seen.
That's right.
Everyone is their own vessel. You don't know what I've been through.
No.
And I do. I've seen it. And there's some horrifying shit that's happened in my life to the point where it's almost like there's no way that happened. It's just I know the story. But I knew that DMT, after guys like Rogan, I mean, Rogan's a fucking trailblazer.
Yeah, man.
And the way that he like mans up about ivermectin or fucking DMT or and he's a truth teller. And to hear him talk about that and be like, you know what? I think I need to try that. And I was ready. It was either jump into DMT or jump into fucking traffic. Because my mind's going crazy. And
that's heavy, man. And that's the truth of it, right?
And I went in there. My first one too was I went balls out. Inhale, exhale. Just go for it.
You went soldier mode. You went soldier
DMT
mode
is
on
the
that
thing.
one.
You saw today that you can ease in or like Grandma always said, fuck on or fuck off.
Yeah, just go.
And I jumped off the cliff, and it immediately turned into around my entire head. And it was all white mirrors.
So I saw a lot of white too.
Yeah, white's good, I think.
Yeah, I think it is too. I mean, what do I know? But yeah, I did see a lot of white.
And my wife Jessica was with me the first time I did it, and I went into the spirit.
It was like
world.
a Fish concert. Sorry.
with a capital PH.
That's right.
But I went under, and it was very intense because the first one, man, it's taking your demons head on, and you can feel the good energy fighting the bad energy, and it hit, and I'm in there, and it's crazy, and
You're going to war. You're going to fucking war.
And I woke up. My wife is right there, and I said, "Honey, how many hours was I out?" And she said, 2.5 minutes.
What the fuck? Yeah.
I was like, give it again.
Yeah.
Send it again.
Send
Frank
it
the
again.
Tank, man.
Okay, man. No,
but then I think, and I don't,
ready for that.
you're not necessarily comfortable with it, but you know what will happen. So but you had to at least see, like, if you freak out and try to fight it, it could be bad.
So back when I was a Navy SEAL, back in the day, we used to ride in these boats called Zodiacs, and it's an inflatable boat. You put about 3 dudes on each side, and then a coxswain in the back who's steering the engine, like when you reach back and you can do the throttle and whatnot and turn, and then the Navy SEALs are on the side. And you've seen it with all branches of special forces coming out of helicopters or whatever, coming out of submarines, a lot of Navy ships. And unlike the Navy today, we actually would go forward when we came out of the sub or the boat. When we got in the water, we go forward. And the reason I bring that up is, if you've seen the Navy's Instagram lately, if you haven't, they posted a picture trying to look badass, and they had the commanding officer of a surface ship with someone behind him, and he was shooting full auto. You can tell by the way the bullets are coming out at the ocean. And thank God he's shooting at the big ocean, because it is an officer. And everything's wrong with the picture. I mean, his stance sucks. The gun's not put well together, which is a hit on the gunner's mate or whomever was on the boat. And then his optics were backwards. He had a backwards scope, so we squint and look through, but the damn thing's backwards. And they took it down. If you haven't been to the Navy's Instagram site, the U.S. by God Navy, they took it. Read the comments on every single picture they post. They put picture of the day up, and they refuse to admit they put this ridiculous picture. If you need it, tell me, and I'll post it again for them. I don't, I love the U.S. Navy. I'm not trying to badmouth them, but they go backwards. Anyway, we had this thing, these things called Zodiacs. They're the boats, and we would do these things called OTH, followed by OTB. Over the horizon, over the beach, meaning you get dropped off somewhere, you can see the horizon, and then you go over it until you see the beach, and you hit the beach and you go over it. Now, it looks cool on TV and on posters. A lot of stuff that we do, though, most of it is not fun. It looks cool on a poster to live in a swamp and come out. It looks cool to come out of freezing water. Not cool. You got to do it, whatever. The old saying, get comfortable being uncomfortable, and that's basically the life. But as you're riding the Zodiac, you have a choice. When we would get on the water, and I don't just mean we, I mean pretty much all of us, and I'm talking about Marines too, God bless them. When you're in the water, King Neptune messes with you, so it's dark, it's always windy, there's rain and big surf, big chop. And then you're driving in that boat for a long time, and it's not cool. But when you sit on the side, you can decide what to wear. And I wouldn't recommend wetsuits. The neoprene doesn't work at all. You think it would block wind? No. Frisk suits, dry suits do work, but when you get to where you're going, either you have to stop and take the stuff off and get your other stuff in, roll that up, put it in a ruck, or if you get into an operation where you're humping for a while, going a long distance and you're still in a dry suit, that sucks because you're sweating. It's horrible. Whenever you're walking, you want to start off cold, which isn't, that's how you do it. Or I recommend tri-shorts or some sort of boxer brief. Some guys don't. They like to free nut it. Cool. Not me. But what I'm getting at is when you're sitting on the side of the Zodiac, there's 3 on each side and a coxswain, the driver in the back. You're bouncing the whole time, and you're up and down and throttle, dethrottle, all that shit. Takes however long it takes, especially in training, you get pissed off. And you get a thing called Zodiac ass, right? Which is a rash. And it's like a diaper rash on a baby. You're just hitting it, and it's wet and whatever. And you're in the salt water, then you go probably over the beach into the hinterland, any swamp, whatever. When you get done with the mission, you probably don't need me to tell you this, but Zodiac ass really stinks. It's absolutely horrible. I remember how bad it stinks. Now, I bring this up because I have found a whole body deodorant called Mando, and it's seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. There's a bunch of different ways to apply it. Anywhere, I mean, pits, packages, nuts and grundle, belly buttons, butt cracks, stinky crevices, stomach folds, and your feet. Mando is created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Mando whole body deodorant is powerful enough for the toughest BO, but gentle enough to use anywhere, allowing you to put Mando on the newts, anywhere. It's aluminum free, baking soda free, it's cruelty free, it's vegan, it's dye free, it's clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. 12 hours after a shower, the average man's taint odor level is about 5 out of 10. With Mando, the average smell of your grundle was about 0 out of 10. The smell of the smooth, solid Mount Fuji deodorant immediately caught my wife's attention, and she told me that's all I'm allowed to wear when she's around, and that's good, and I think you know why. She's happy to find that I also had the Mount Fuji cleansing bar in the shower. It smells outstanding. Now that I've used Mando, I am not using anything else, and I'm being honest. It's the scent of confidence. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice. I picked the mini body wash and the deodorant wipes, and free shipping. Luckily, I have a discount code to help you get hooked on my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. So that equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code THEOPERATOR at shopmando.com. shopmando.com. Code THEOPERATOR, shopmando.com. Code THEOPERATOR. It's time to smell better naked, and your partner will thank you. Shopmando.com. Code THEOPERATOR.
I can't even explain what that would be. I wouldn't even know how to fight it. Like, do you know what I mean? I guess that's something. But you know what's funny is I did. I subconsciously, I think I did fight it.
You didn't look like you.
I felt very at peace, but like I said, I think people probably fight it in different ways. If you panic, you're definitely in trouble. Like if you started to panic, I could see that. I didn't panic, but at the same time, I was very aware of my consciousness still, and I think that's the trick. That
is a trick. Well, when you said you tried mushrooms before, that put me at ease because you realize that you're just going somewhere else.
Yeah.
The key to something like DMT though is seriously recognize you're in a safe place. You're with good people that you trust.
Well, and next time I'm just going to take that whole damn bag.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take the whole damn bag next time.
We'll do it again.
Yeah, we will.
No problem at all. But I mean, like we said, that's a therapy for me. I love the gym. I love getting outside, and DMT for psychedelics. It's just a reset. Me personally, for your mind. I think everyone who's ever done anything other than stay in the house, you could use it, and it's good. Like we talked over delicious tacos, by the way.
Bomb tacos.
If we had more tacos than DMT, there would be world peace. We're getting close.
We're real close. We just got to get Putin in the room with Kim Jong Un and who's the guy that runs the country? It's not Biden. I forget who runs this
Susan
place.
Rice.
Yeah, sure. We just got to get him in a room with some tacos, some DMT. It's over, baby. War is done.
DM tacos.
DM tacos.
Well, to Mike Tango.
That's a fucking food truck right there. Patent pending.
But too, speaking of government, speaking of world bullshit.
Yeah.
You saw it today. This is probably the reason why they don't want things like DMT or Ibogaine to be legal.
What did I see? Me and Luis were talking about this. Luis is a big faster. Have you ever done the fasting thing?
Sort of.
So
I'm working on it. I want to do the raw milk fast, but I end up eating a cheeseburger.
I know, I'm familiar with that fast.
That's
a great fast.
Yeah. Well, I was on this weird fast one time. I had this fast I did where what I would do is eat till I was tired, then I would sleep till I was hungry.
That's called sleep. Yeah, that's called every damn day. Every damn day we fast.
It's called Wednesday.
I saw that, and a lot of people are talking about fasting. Tim Kennedy, our mutual friend. Shout out, Tim. I mean, where are you? You going to come on the next trip, Tim? I don't know. Let's see.
He's more than welcome.
More than welcome. That would be...
Jim something. However, if Tim's never done it and he freaks out, I don't think I can subdue him.
I was just going to say, neither of us were going to
leave the window open. I'm
strap
jumping.
him down. Anyways, shit, what was I saying?
I don't know. We're talking about Tim Kennedy and how handsome he is. Oh, speaking of that, did you see the new Roadhouse?
I have not. What's that, Jake?
I loved it, by the way.
Okay, did they keep the line in? I used to fuck guys like you in prison.
Sort of.
Sort of.
There were intricacies in there.
Okay.
Like next to the bookstore was the Roadhouse Cafe or the Double Deuce Cafe.
Okay. Swayze, baby.
I jumped around. Sorry about that, but Jake Gyllenhaal crushed it. Bob Menery was an awesome bad guy, but Gyllenhaal played. It reminded me of Tim Kennedy, like this really nice, cool guy that will explain to you Well, how far away is the hospital before I fight you?
Yeah,
and I'm just going to be there. It's 25 miles.
You got it.
So now we're talking about Tim fucking Kennedy.
It's called being a gentleman. So that's what I was going to do. The fasting thing, Tim had told me he did a water. He only drank water for 3 days, yada, yada. So a lot of people are using this, and I've had people tell me it helps you heal. It literally helps your body heal.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Well, I saw an article the other day that said intermittent fasting is raises your chance for a heart attack by 91%. It's certainly not all that other stuff that we took over the last 4 years raising the heart attack rates.
Yeah.
It's fasting. And don't do fasting. Don't do DMT. Don't do anything that could naturally make you feel better. Thank you. That is all.
This has been brought to you by our good friends at
Pfizer, baby. Yeah, that's right. No, and then on top of that, I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the CDC was nice enough to release a study on myocarditis. Every page was redacted.
Every page.
140 pages. Redacted.
They just dipped it in ink.
They were like, yeah, we're going to, here's the info you guys asked for.
So wait a minute, John. So you're telling me
just kidding.
A 3-letter agency lied to us.
I know it's shocking. I know. Listen,
That's
it's a
crazy
groundbreaking revelation, but apparently these people that we gave ultimate power to are abusing it. Who would have thought?
We're going to get right back into that because I know we're going politics. Let's finish up with the psychedelics.
Yes, sir.
I got to finish your journey just to let people know.
Yeah.
No, because I think, the reason we're talking about this, obviously I want people to get the help they deserve. I know we're all a little bit nuts and people really, this will smooth everything out.
Yeah.
But also I'd love to make it legal because if you get a chance to do this in a good environment, I think you can see where this would help, don't you think?
So the Canada is there. You can get versions of it. I'm not sure if it's the exact same, but you can do it is? Yeah, confirmed. Okay. You can do DMT in Canada. Canada, despite all its problems, it is our drug policies are a bit more progressive than down here in the States. Like I miss just even going to my...
Well, like we were talking about...
That checks out, okay, but California really is not anything.
Well, like we were talking about more progressive, like in Canada, the strip bars. Who doesn't love tits and a dick?
Someone told me that a strip tease in New York City, one lap dance costs $200. Is that true?
Now, are you at the Underbelly, which we could talk about offline? Or
I don't know. Someone told me across the board, like in Canada, it's $20 and you get full access.
Now, is it $20 or 20 Canadian dollars?
So that's about 10 cents American. Yeah, no, 20
and
Canadian dollars.
On that one. Look at me over here trying to hype up inflation.
DMT tacos with the stripper pole attached. Yeah. Come on down to the food truck. You get a $5 lap dance.
We still have pennies here in the United States. Don't throw those at strippers. Trust me.
I know. I couldn't believe you guys are still giving out pennies. I mean, whatever. I guess
all the migrants brought them up. They're all Argentinian.
It literally costs more to make them, right? Than they are worth, which is just another great expenditure by our government and those.
Well, I mean, the thing with the government though is they never. That's the end of that sentence.
Yeah.
The government actually wrote that joke. It just kind of stopped.
Here's the thing about the government. Give me more money.
But the thing with the psychedelics too, and I'm glad we got to do that today, is I got more and more into it. And there's a psilocybin, ayahuasca, the frog you smoke. There's did ibogaine, but then we were talking today about iboga, which I guess the way it was described to me is ibogaine is the nephew and iboga is the grandfather.
Is that what you were talking about with our mutual friend?
Yeah.
Then? Okay.
And that's the big one where because my experience with ibogaine, now ibogaine's amazing because it can cure addiction overnight. And I'm talking heroin. And that's
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. And the way that I felt after ibogaine, like I was talking about cigarettes today, and I was in the Navy. We smoke.
No doubt.
And a big drinker. We smoke.
Yeah.
I didn't go to take ibogaine to quit smoking, but I just stopped. Like it's gross.
And that's something.
It's crazy, and that wasn't even intended. And then when I finished ibogaine, walking past bars in the San Diego airport afterwards, and I've been known to be a drinker. I've actually gotten caught. I don't know if you know.
Allegedly. Yeah.
And but walking past a bar after leaving Mexico, I remember looking at it, and my thought process was, okay, it makes sense that they're all drinking and having fun. I just don't get it right now.
Sure.
And I didn't get it.
Isn't that a liberating feeling?
It's crazy. And it's just the medicine working. But if you can cure addiction like that, you can see why the government wouldn't want you to have it. Because, I mean, look at the lockdowns. Titty bars are open. Liquor stores are open.
Sure.
Libraries aren't. Churches aren't.
Your local kitchen that feeds homeless people, they're not allowed to be open. No, how dare you?
Nana died, but I can't go bury her.
Got to die alone in a room. And
so I better go get more booze.
You know, that hits home for me right now because my Nana we just put her in hospice care. I could not imagine. I would punch a doctor out who said you can't go see her. I honestly, and I'm not a violent guy, but if I felt bad leaving her alone for 5 minutes because in the hospital room she's sitting there lying there staring at the ceiling, you know, and it's like I'm not trying to guilt trip anyone. We all were trying to figure out what was going on over those 2 years. We let our loved ones die alone staring at the ceiling.
Die alone.
And that's unforgivable.
That's almost
not
like
on us. I'm talking about the powers that be that put those systems in place that made that happen.
The demons, the narcissists, and the sociopaths that are led to places like Washington, D.C.
They convinced us. It is an amazing Jedi mind trick that they convinced us it was for the betterment of everyone.
All of us.
To let that happen. And
Joseph Stalin did the same thing, by the way.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Interesting.
20 million dead later. It's like, well, you know what? That guy might have been an asshole.
They might have not had our best interests at heart. Well, it's like, I like to bring it back to Purdue Pharma, right? Because a lot of my friends, and these are smart people, some of my best friends, engineers, I'm sure you're familiar, right? That rift that it created in society. And I broke it down to them the one day. I'm like, what are you saying? Are you saying that a pharmaceutical company would never lie for profit? Because if you're not aware about OxyContin, let me tell you, in the day, you used to be able to go to the doctor with a sore back, and he'd give you some heroin.
Yeah,
and they told the doctors it was not addictive. They told us it wasn't addictive, bro, for years.
There were doctors that were prescribing it. They themselves got into accidents, were prescribed it. Then they got so addicted to OxyContin that they're writing it up and not giving it to their patients. It's like, and it's big pharma.
Bonuses here, bonuses there. We're all getting paid. Who gives a fuck, right?
You know how many billionaires were made because of the lockdown?
Yeah. Oh, God. How many billionaires were made and then matched that up against how many small businesses had to close and still, even the ones that remained open, how many of them are still struggling? How many of them are still, like, it was, I'll say this to you, Robert, I remember we were sitting there. It's like the first month into the lockdown. We're going to fucking all die. You're thinking, right? I'm sitting there with...
I can't die before I finish Tiger King.
Yo, I loved it. That was like they put the thing out.
That's like they had to turn that off because the entire world was finally world peace.
How about
because
the fact
of Joe
that
Exotic.
Carol Baskin's husband's like probably alive and that poor woman got grilled by the entire world? She's like, I feel so bad for Carol Baskins. I still wouldn't mess with her, but just saying. But like, I remember sitting there, Rob, and I was like, I looked at my buddy and we're sitting 6 feet apart from each other. His wife's here. Our other buddy, we're eating pizza. Like each of us has our own little, and it's just like thinking back on that is absurd. Also, I was like, I looked at him and I remember, I swear to God, I said, I sure hope that these measures we're taking don't end up hurting us more than if we would have just let the virus run its course.
Well,
and I hate to be right. Sometimes.
Yeah, but I mean, you usually figure out about a year after I said something, I'm right.
I think it's very obvious at this point. We would have been better off letting that thing.
No doubt about it. The sunshine's going to clear it up.
Straight
up. You got to figure. I remember. I was in Tennessee. I was living in Tennessee, in Nashville at the time.
Yeah.
And we got to admit, no one knew what the fuck's going on.
No.
You have horror stories here. TikTok nurses there.
Scary.
And I would go to like Food Lion or Albertsons, whatever the hell they have, Piggly Wiggly. And I remember there was they had they had the goddamn sneeze glass up, the plexiglass, like that's whatever. Yeah. I didn't know. I'm tipping the person working $20. Thanks for coming in, blah blah blah. But then the further along, it's like, wait a minute, who in the fucking government knows a guy that makes plexiglass that said, I got $100 million contract, put this in cabs and Ubers and goddamn Piggly Wiggly, so dipshits like O'Neill can come in here and tip the guy $20.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they're gonna handle everything that you just touched and then hand it back to you. But that plexiglass is sure gonna keep us safe.
And who came up? You know who came up with the 6 feet thing? The fucking dude who has the factory that owns a 6 feet sticker.
Fauci literally said that was not based on science.
Bullshit. None of it was based on anything.
They were like, we just thought it was like a good idea. Oh, it's like, so you persecuted anyone that thought maybe it wasn't?
Yeah.
That seems fair.
Who's still in jail, by the way, for shit that,
Man, talk about Canada. I mean, shout out to the truckers. And I mean, it's time that those people are released. It's time that they should never touch anyone's bank account again. Like you were talking about, I didn't even put this 2 and 2 together. The GoFundMe, which allowed this trip to happen because, censorship and freedom of speech, the issues we have with that. Thank you, TikTok, for shutting my live down. We're back, though. So, like, this trip was in the balance because I got defunded. Mm-hmm. They can't deplatform me because our community's too strong, thank God, and that's on y'all.
Good.
But they tried to defund me, and they did. And I got the GoFundMe up, and that's why we're here. The fans came together.
Well, it's other fans too at Mikuya, because I'm
imagine, yeah. Well, yeah, guys, go follow Robert. We're gonna get to all that though, and I'm gonna be posting the full YouTube stuff, and we're gonna generate some traffic.
You kick-ass new T-shirt with your badass 2 new
Buddy,
books.
I love this shirt. I'm not even gonna lie. It makes me want to lose just a little bit of weight too, because I'm like, it'll fit real nice when I don't have a gut. No, like. Fuck, I lost what I was saying.
No, we're rambling. We're talking about the lockdown, plexiglass stickers, Fauci.
Stickers, Fauci.
Yeah.
There's 42 trillion that was made from 2020
Oh.
to 2022.
What was that number?
42 trillion.
It generated from 2020 to 2022, 99% went to the 1%.
That's right. It was the biggest, one of the biggest wealth transfer ever. So
we should get Luis a microphone.
Trillions of dollars. He'll never stop talking.
Okay,
if
Luis,
we do
no
that.
microphone for you. Okay. Put the camera on him. You're just eye candy for now.
So out of the trillions of dollars, let's say $40 trillion was generated over those years of COVID. I know the stat you're talking about. I think it was like over 80% of that, trillions of dollars went to the top 1%. When are people going to wake up and open their eyes? What I was going to say is, imagine if that GoFundMe that I started, that's basically what they did to the truckers. They took that money and said, nope, that's ours now. You don't get that money.
Really?
That's what they did with the GoFundMe of the truckers up in Canada, the land of the free.
Yeah.
Funny joke there. Anyways, I met Justin Trudeau, and he has one of the worst mustaches I've ever seen. And I don't judge a man by his mustache. But
now, did he stop growing that or what?
I don't think he's even a human anymore at this point. I think they've just they pulled the clone out, and I don't know. Trudeau's off somewhere in northern Quebec.
Yeah,
hanging out with his wife. His wife left. His kids left. He's officially the most hated man in Canada.
He looks a lot like Fidel Castro.
Everyone. I love the joke and I get it, but if you're Canadian and you know French people, that guy's a French fuck, and I do apologize. Yeah. He's a full-on French guy. His dad.
Hey, by the way, this portion of the Operator podcast is not brought to you by my sponsor, Babbel. Just saying.
We love Babbel. I love all French people except Justin
Babbel's
Trudeau.
Amazing. No, but I mean, what I was doing over here too was the verbiage that we've grown accustomed to in life. We mentioned a trillion or how many trillion. I did the math on a podcast. I was trying to look it up, but I fucked it up. On how long it would take. It's like 11 days to count to a million. Something like 13 years to count to a billion.
Like if you're just like one a
second,
three.
There's 33,000 years to count to a trillion.
33,000
years. It's like someone asked, can you count to a trillion in your lifetime? So, well, that all depends on how fucking long you live.
Am I plugged into the Matrix?
But I mean, you got to figure that's where we're at. Right now, you got to figure the United States has spent more money on Ukraine than they did on the Marshall Plan to rebuild Europe after World War II.
What about East Palestine, Ohio? What about anything lately?
East Palestine, you got planes falling out of the sky. You got
no shit
ships. It's almost like we're going off the rails.
Let's go.
Are they trying to make people afraid of travel?
I honestly think that is the end goal. You got bridges, I jokingly on the way here I drove down, and I had to go across the Golden State Bridge, the George Washington Bridge.
Yeah.
The George Washington Bridge. And I was a little bit rattled. I literally called him.
Depends on who's.
I called him and I was like, Luis, what should I do if this bridge falls? I was like, should I jump? He's like, no, you'll die if you jump.
Yeah, it's a long one. That's a long one.
So it does seem, and if, Robert, I understand that Boeing and probably every other company in the world, I'll be honest, I was a health and safety guy. And you know what I did when I went through and did my checks? I checked every box and hoped everything was fine. And that is what they do. But it is way too convenient for all those planes to suddenly, in the same week, all start malfunctioning.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I get it. It's shoddy workmanship, shoddy health and safety practices. Why has it just all happened right away?
It's never happened before.
No.
It's not like we had an issue in the 80s.
Nope.
Flying Western Airlines or flying TWA or whatever. I mean, there was a flight leaving Hawaii a few months ago where it came within, I think, between 1,000 and 500 feet from killing everyone because it almost crashed. And they pulled it for something. But it's almost like the Supermax, or not the Supermax, but whatever they call that is it 737?
Yeah, 737.
And a bunch of people in Africa died on a flight. Something with It's almost like they said they reconfigured the safety things and the pilots weren't aware. It's almost like when you download new software. It worked before. Why are you making it new, especially when these two jackholes are flying these jackholes?
Isn't that an interesting theory? Raytheon makes the guidance system. God bless them.
Look, I have a thing about them too. I complain like the rest of us about the military-industrial complex.
Sure.
I have needed them before. And when that Hellfire missile comes screaming over and misses me by 7 feet, love the scientist.
Hell yeah.
But there are smart enough people out there that there's got to be a reason for a lot of this happening.
Yeah, and the sad thing is, I wish they would just let us in on it and let us help. Like in the end, I do think there's people that are doing it they think it's for our own good and for our betterment, but they think they know better than us. And guess what? They don't.
They think they do, and that's all they know. I mean, take for example Joe Biden right now. He's the president of the United States, most popular president in the history of the universe. 81 million votes, which is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I think there were more votes cast in 2000 than there are registered voters.
He's the first president that can hide his own Easter eggs.
But you got to figure that's brilliant. But what amazes me though is most people haven't been to Washington D.C. and haven't seen behind the curtain. A guy like Joe Biden, who was elected, I think, right around 1972.
Oh, he's a staple. 72. He's been around forever.
So figure if he's elected as a senator, 72, senators get their butts kissed more than congressmen because there's only 200 of them. And
that's right.
So nice suits, yes men surround you.
Oh, beautiful.
Cars drive you. Yeah. People buy your shit. It's all free. So go from 1972 up till you're the president under Barack Obama.
Yeah.
And then the vice president under President Obama. Yeah. All you know is yes, ass kissed.
Yep.
And then and plus he's been full of shit for so long, he buys his own bullshit. He doesn't know any better.
Yeah. He is literally my Nana who takes a pee every 5 minutes and isn't sure when she has to make a bowel movement, so she just thinks she always has to go poo, is better suited to be president. Her mind is still there. Biden's gone. That guy is not. That guy is not functioning as an. Would you hire Biden to flip a burger at the taco joint we're going to start?
If you look at Washington D.C. right now, and they're talking about 65 should be the age of retirement. They're arguing that 65 years old is a junior senator.
That's like when you first get allowed to run.
And these fuckers are dying in office. And
it's so backwards.
You can't even the lawmakers vote on term limits. The only way now is to get the states together. The states can do it.
Yeah.
But they won't.
I mean, even Trump is fucking 80 years old.
Huh?
You know what I mean? Like he's definitely more coherent than Biden.
Yeah.
What's going to happen in a year, 2 years?
Well, once
you know what I'm saying?
My thing is it's going to be fine after President Trump serves a second term because we'll get our first female president and we'll have Ivanka. She'll be great for 2 terms.
I'm down. I'm down, actually. Trump's...
We'll probably pissing people off, but what else, man? What are you going to do?
If I'm not pissing people off, then I'm not talking.
Hopefully that's our political stuff, because what I love about this, John, is we didn't come in here with an agenda.
But we're free-balling it right now. We are straight free-balling
Basically what we did was we said, let's get some psychedelics, eat some tacos and sushi, come talk shit, and hopefully we can make it work. So we got to touch on politics. I'm done with.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
Current events would be fine, but what the fuck's going on with Diddy?
So it's a bummer. I had a song coming out with P. Diddy. It was called Touch Me Baby One More Time. Sorry. I just saw something about, it's actually 50 Cent is dropping court documents.
Yeah, I heard about that. And 50's been waiting for this.
Well,
that dude's been...
I mean, apparently his 50's baby mama, one of his baby mamas, was saying that she was pimped out by Diddy. And like, if you read 50's comment, it's like kind of fucked up. He's like, oh girl, I didn't realize you was no hoe. Like, and I'm like, 50, are you taking this as serious as you should be? I don't know what's happening. I don't know if you understand what's happening right now.
Level of, don't put anything in writing.
Bro. Anyways, though, he dropped something about, the song, On Every Breath. Fantastic song, right?
Yeah.
Stevie J, I guess, was coerced into having some un-Catholic relations with another fella by P. Diddy.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And there's a little picture of it. And now I have heard that...
I sort of.
Apparently that picture is not of Stevie J, though, so don't quote me on that,
Yeah,
guys.
they said it was a big black gay porn star.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've seen him when I go to Hunks with Trunks once a week. think I saw that, dude.
Hashtag hunks with
It was
truck.
hard for me to tell on my iPad because I was holding it with my left hand.
You don't even know how hard it was, Robert. Oh my God. No. So listen. How about this? Beyonce and Jay-Z seem to have absconded. No one can find them all of a sudden.
Yeah.
That's not suspicious at all.
Well, when Diddy was dating J-Lo,
Yes.
which is about 2
People
years.
forget that fucking happened. Yeah.
When they broke up, I did hear a comedian. It's not my joke, but a comedian said Diddy was so upset that he went to the studio and he sampled music from an artist that's actually talented enough to write something. Whatever. No, but see, the thing that bothers me is one of my favorite movies is Get Him to the Greek.
Oh, hell
with
yeah.
two of my favorite people,
Hell yeah.
Diddy and Russell Brand.
Russell Brand.
They both should have gotten an Academy Award. Diddy was amazing.
Diddy was funny in that movie.
Hey, Sergio gonna be all right. I got 20 kookaroos. 21. I got 21 kookaroos. Y'all ain't got one kookaroo. Y'all are fucked.
Everything sucks. You know what I like to say, though? When someone, because a lot of people now are going to do the boycott thing, and I understand that they want to do that. When someone makes art, once that art is in the public, that's our art. That's the way I like to look at it. So you can still enjoy this stuff. P. Diddy himself is obviously a trash bag. I mean, it all started with his ex-girlfriend, Cassie. Like, what do you make of this as a guy? You've been kind of, you are around, you've done talk shows. Is this something that's more? Do you think more of this is going to come out? Is this the tip of the iceberg with this?
It sounds to me like yes. Now, the people that I know in like Nashville and Hollywood, I've been lucky, I think, to meet actual good people. I've met people that have been in the business their entire lives. Kid Rock's a really good friend of mine. He was in my wedding.
Yeah,
and a lot of dudes
Kid Rock was in your wedding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's pretty
sick
cool.
wedding, dude. That was
Were they serving Bud Light only, or was it?
Absolutely not. No, we were serving Armed Forces Brewing Company, the best beer in the world.
Let's go.
Nice plug. Boom.
Armed Forces guys, get it.
But no, so I've not seen it. But what I'm starting, it's almost like now, was he the ringmaster or is he a fall guy? Because Epstein, I mean, I'll tell you what, for having no victims.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Who's doing what? And it almost makes me wonder, too, the conspiracy theorist in me wonders, is this why Hollywood and the music industry is so far left? Because if someone like Trump gets in there, he's going to uncover a lot of shit? Is there bad shit going on? Again, I don't know a lot of these people. I'm not pointing a finger.
No, it's just it's become so discouraging that it's like the conspiracies about these things probably where I used to be hesitant to indulge some of these things. Like everyone wants to draw stuff back to Epstein, or everyone wants to draw stuff back to the soul sucking pedos that are and it's like, come on guys, calm down. Fuck, they might not be. We might not be going far enough.
Yeah,
and that's the fucked up thing.
You remember? I think you probably do. Corey Feldman.
Yes,
and he was shouting from the rooftops,
and
everyone was
listened.
like, "Well, he's obviously
no
a
one
lunatic."
cared.
His best friend died of an overdose because allegedly, again, I wasn't there, and I've never met Corey Feldman, but some of the shit he was saying is like that's creepy. That sucks. And I mean, you look at the guy. He's had drug issues, substance abuse, and he's had a tough life. And by the way, Corey Feldman is fucking awesome for the record.
Yeah.
And Corey Haim was awesome. I mean, License to Drive.
That's who it was.
Wasn't that Heather Graham's first like? When she came out, Heather Graham, was that her?
Man, yeah, it was. Yeah,
and that's when it was, all we cared about was getting a driver's license.
Fuck, I got that so quick and lost it so quick. Don't drink and drive.
Yeah, especially at 16, right?
Yeah, 17, I was invincible, man. Oh, boy.
But yeah, when Corey Feldman came out, and by the way, if you haven't looked at his music, his live music that he used to do, he got a pop career.
No kidding.
Incredible.
Okay.
And by incredible, I mean, just give it a second.
Okay.
It's incredible.
Okay. Is it like cringe incredible?
Cringe incredible,
okay,
I have nothing but love for Corey Feldman, so I like it. I love seeing him crush it.
It's actually kind of tragic because it's like, when you think about that, people almost used to scoff, I think, when you would, crazy Corey. And now it's like, imagine that happening to you and you're trying to fucking tell people about it and everyone's thinks you're, man. And no wonder you're using drugs at that point.
Yeah.
No fucking wonder.
Well, plus they're feeding to. Well, there was even did you hear Cat Williams' interview?
Of course. All lies will come. What is it? All lies will be revealed. Yeah.
But then what I think Cat Williams might have said, or someone said that some of these comedians, the George Carlins, that the Illuminati brought him backstage, told him everything, and said, no one's ever going to believe you because you're a comedian. George Carlin was a genius. And to the point, like I saw him when I was like 15 years old.
You actually got to see him? That's awesome.
Crazy.
That's awesome.
His faces I was like in the 5th row and you could see those goofy faces.
Yeah.
But it's almost like they wanted the powers that be to tell someone.
They sprinkle it in.
No one's going to believe you because you're a comedian.
Well, it's think about how vain some of these motherfuckers running the show must be. They want a little credit. They want you to know.
They want you to know.
They want you to know. They don't want you to actually do anything about it.
It's almost like the Son of Sam killer leaving notes behind.
Bro,
like, here I am.
Yo, here's a hot theory for you.
Yeah.
Quick tangent.
Ready.
What's the guy? The Zodiac killer?
Yeah.
Was the same cult. Because have you seen the Sons of Sam?
Yes.
Multiple killers, right? That theory?
Yeah.
Same guys. That's my hot take. Guys, do the research because I'm not going to.
I might. Yeah. The
Zodiac killer
I heard they landed
was
on the moon
the same group of people. Because look at the MO. Random killings. Send the letters in. I don't know. That's my hottest
It's almost
little
like
take.
the credit though. You kind of want the credit for the story.
You want. Listen, even Anonymous takes credit for shit.
Yeah.
I like to put it that way, which has become the CIA, I think, unfortunately. But
yeah.
whatever.
Well, since we're on that too, what are your thoughts on the white supremacists in khakis and matching uniforms? Is that feds? I say without a doubt.
Look, it's like whether it's feds or not. I do know that there are misguided, angry people out there on all sides making irrational decisions and blaming people they shouldn't.
True.
Like, I just want to acknowledge there are people out there that suck, but it's not their fault. It's the system's fault. I try and blame the system, lack of education, lack of understanding, poverty, all that stuff. If they're not feds, but they're finding a way to use this stuff and talk about it, exemplify it, exaggerate it, make you scared. Have you noticed now all across the world, every city is having random men running up to women and punching them in the face? Yeah. I don't know about that. I'm sure it happens on a daily basis. Men, there are violent men everywhere and cowards that would do that. Why is this like... They're trying to make you scared to leave your house, scared to get on a plane, scared to get on a fucking bridge, and don't you dare walk down the sidewalk because some random guy's going to run up to you and pop you in the face.
Well, you got to figure with a lot of these algorithms, we talked about TikTok, China is, like it or not, China's a superpower. And what they want to beat us from the inside.
Yeah, they
do. And
do.
if they can infiltrate with everything, like, can you imagine, over 100,000 people die in the United States a year from fentanyl.
Yeah.
0 die from climate change. Right?
Climate change is causing heart disease.
Climate change is the reason. Climate change is the reason guys like John Kerry can fly over and talk to Xi Jinping and say, "Oh, it's a climate summit." Blah blah blah. Let's talk about my bottom line. The whole thing is that battling. There's a huge look. There's a huge difference between seeing what's going on in New York and going to New York.
That's what
There's a huge difference between getting outside and realizing most people are actually good. Most people get along. However, if they can fuel the hate, the divide and conquer is real. And I'm saying this about China because this dude by the name of Sun Tzu wrote a book.
Yeah,
I think it's called The Art of War.
It was The Art of Tacos.
Something like that. The Art of DMT. But I mean, divide and conquer, and they're playing the long game. If climate change was killing as many people as fentanyl was, there would be an actual thing. But they're using climate change as a religion, so we can pretend something. Anyway, that's my.
Brother. Let's take it a level further. Like, you know what? I'm not denying that the climate's changing. It definitely is changing.
Yeah, it always does, though.
It kind of always does. And if me and you and yours and yours and you and 99% of the world recycled every damn thing we did and had a 0 carbon footprint, you know how much good that would do? Fucking 0. Yeah. Because we're not the reason. Spike Cohen said this to me. We're not the reason. Your water bottle is not the reason there's a floating plastic island in the ocean. No. That is from industrial fishing nets being cut off because they're like, it's cheaper for us to just cut this fucking thing off.
Well, I mean,
like, straight up, like, we could all, what I'm saying is, it is countries and corporations are, 95% responsible for the pollution? We could literally recycle every damn day of our lives and have no effect. So I'm sorry. I won't litter because of the community, whatever. But I don't shame me. Don't say, oh, how could you not do it? It's like, maybe the day that we stop pumping fucking carbon fossil fuels into the air like it's funny, like we're like it's Mardi Gras and we're popping confetti in the air. Like, just don't tell me that what I do matters when the corporations and the countries are the ones fueling it and ironically telling us, shaming us. Carbon footprint was created by BP oil. That term was created by BP.
They can't even. It's virtual signaling. If you think for a second when you go to the airport and one half of the thing is trash and one's recycling, if you don't think they're not going to the same landfill, you're wrong. There is no money in recycling. There's a shit ton of money shipping it to Venezuela and fuck it off, and that's it. And we are running low on time here. I do have one more crazy conspiracy theory.
Let's go.
I think the reason that they got rid of plastic straws is not because turtles were choking on them.
Yeah.
It's because they were using them to do lines off other turtle shells.
That's it.
And we're trying to save the turtles from cocaine.
I got to tell you, me and Spike Cohen had this exact conversation, and then both of us tried to get an AI-generated image of RFK shoving a straw up a turtle's nose.
Can we?
And the AI would not generate.
How much time we got?
Homework, a little homework project. You guys go to our Instagrams, and you will see. I'm gonna try and do this. The RFK shoving the straw up the turtle's nose.
Did you get any questions from TikTok Live?
Yo, actually, I forgot about.
We should probably take one.
Let's take a question, guys. Hit me up with any question.
Because we gotta. We're gonna wrap.
We're
up.
at 7 right now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Time flies when you're eating tacos.
That time flies when you're doing lines of turtles.
No, man. In the end, it's like, do you remember there was a time when they told us to stop using paper bags, and we were going to switch to plastic to save the environment?
Yeah.
Is anyone paying attention here? Is they is anyone they just take? It's like, okay, we've made enough.
They've been doing the same shit since the Roman Empire, when the locals start to realize that they distract them. That's it.
That's it.
And look at that. It's like I could pay attention, but March Madness is on.
Grass Monkey asks, "Who's got the beers?" That is the question, and that's actually perfect.
Wow, we don't have any here, but you got to make sure they check out Armed Forces Brewing Company. We just opened up that place in Norfolk, Virginia.
Armed Forces Brewing Company. Guys, you heard it here first. That's who's got the beer. Grass Monkey.
And also, tell me your thoughts on, should we make the beer called Osama Bin Lager?
Oh my God, go.
Cannot give the guy credit, which is funny. I thought it was hilarious. I pride myself on being a
What if I make it? We'll make a Canadian brew.
This is a fucking deal.
That's it. Okay, we got the collab lined up. That's fantastic. That's one of the best things I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Man, it has been such a pleasure. Then this,
John, what a great time.
We just both. I mean, not to get crude, but we totally popped each other's cherries here.
Is it?
First in-person
You know
interview.
what's crazy? I mean, you got to figure you and I did show up here 15 minutes early to set this whole thing up.
That's right. This was all us.
Took us a while to set the TVs and whatnot, and then thanks for designing that.
Well, you actually you put in the wiring. You put in the electrical wiring.
I'm a bit of a narrow back, if you don't mind.
Oh my God, the bullshit. At least when we're bullshitting, you can clearly tell.
We're full of shit. We're lying.
We'd be terrible politicians.
You can tell we're lying because we're both fat. But so here's the plan. So this is episode 9 of the Upright Podcast.
Episode
John
90.
Wiber. You're going to do a little tour of the country.
We're heading down to Georgia. We're going to meet up with Thug Nasty, Bryce Mitchell. We're going to meet up with Far Out with Faust. And then actually, we have a mutual friend named Jim Bob, and he's going to take me down to some river in Georgia. So
good.
I'm going to watch out for kids with banjos, but I'm really looking forward to all that.
Where, for my listeners to find you, where should they look?
So guys, check me out on Instagram, YouTube, Rumble, Twitter. I'm there. It's all news updates for real with the 4.
Yeah.
The number, not the letter 4, the number 4, Robert.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And then also, guys, check out my novel because it's the best way to support independent journalism right now. It's fully independently published. It's called Run, Charlie, Run. It's got drugs, sex, sadness, and some jokes in there. I think you might enjoy it. If you're a guy,
you might have just described the operator.
That's
drugs, sex, and sadness.
Drugs, sex, and sadness. That sounds like the saddest Rolling Stones song ever.
But an amazing album.
Check it out, guys. If you got a boyfriend and you want your parents to think your boyfriend's smart, buy him my book. Buy him Robert's book, then buy him my book, and then come eat some tacos with us.
News updates for real.
That's what's up.
That's how you and I met, because I was listening to your stuff, and all bullshit aside, I'm not asking who your sources are, but you got some really quality shit there. So definitely check that out, guys. It's John's the man.
Can I be frank real quick too?
Play.
It's a community, man. What we are doing right now, guys, I hope you realize, is something that scares the shit out of the mainstream, because you guys, we've created a community here. You are part of this community. You're part of this community. Anyone watching is part of it. That gives a view, that sends me a private message saying, yo, this just happened in my town.
Yes.
And when I see those messages come in, I feel honored. I feel unworthy. And we're just learning as we go, Robert. We're just going to keep growing, brother.
Keep growing, and that's the way we're going to do it because you've been restricted. I've been restricted, kicked off of shit, and whatever.
They love
canceled.
it. They hate that we're still here.
Well, the thing is, this is why we get along so well. All we're doing is telling the fucking truth. Shit ain't hard. And you don't need to remember a lie. Just tell the truth.
Back in my day, people used to be able to talk and say words. You know what I'm saying? I literally go, I'll be trying to talk about some serious issue and I can't say the word death or suicide. And I'm like, oh, so we're just butchering the English language because what? Someone got offended?
Someone's offended. Well, I remember one time I was doing one. It's like, hey, what comes after 3 in Countons?
Yeah.
4. Got
4.
it. Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, okay, cool. So we're going to wrap it up here, John.
Let's wrap it.
We're going to come back for another episode soon. But thanks for watching the Operator Podcast, episode 90. Great book, written by a great dude. News updates
can I
for
read
real.
I'm going to read your
Oh, yeah. Oh,
okay.
you show it to the camera, too.
It says, John, DMT, dynamite. Take the shot, fire like this.
And remember, you take DMT, you take the shot, you're never out.